Hello, everyone. This is my second Aldershot video um, about the Johnny Curran's tournament called Operation Aldershot. And this video, I'll go through the first 4 of the lists that have been sent to me, anonymized, so there is no names, and I will give my reactions to the lists. I'll not give that much advice, but I will go through the lists. I'm also trying out a new system of recording here, so that I can actually show you a bit more. So that's what's happening, and welcome. Now, the first list that we're going to look at is a German list, and I will just share that with you. Just a second. Here we go. So we have a 14 order dice German list, and you can see that it is 1,038 points. I believe that it was set at 1,050 points. So there's actually a few points left over in this list, which, well, I believe you should use those points for something, at least like buy extra dudes for your lieutenant or something. That's the thing. Use the points you have. Otherwise, let's go. The lieutenant is a regular lieutenant, perfectly fine. I believe that he is even better when you make him not a small team, because with the restrictions for Aldershot, you could actually by 3 extra dudes, making him an infantry unit. I think you should. That extra infantry unit will come much. He'll be needed, right? He'll come in handy. Then we have the Grenadiers. 3 units of Grenadiers, 7-man units, regulars with rifles. 7-man is on the low side for regular units. I believe you should go 8+ with regulars, just because regulars are that much more vulnerable if they are going to move out. If they are not going to move out, sorry, it's 4 units. Did I say 3? 4 units of Herr Grenadiers here. If they're not going to move out, then they're going to sit in your own half of the table, deliver pins. Then 7 men is enough, maybe even too much. So 7 men for me is I would go 6, maybe even 5, or I would go 8+ if you're going to move them up, depending on what you want, of course. Then we have the 2 Waffen Ss Cavalry, again 7-man units, upon horses, fanatics, and they of course have the assault special rule because they can use their carbines as pistols. These units are really good. They're veteran. They can assault stuff. They're not invincible assault machines, but they can assault stuff. I would even argue that you could have used some of the men or some of the points from your Grenadiers and use them on buying 1 extra dude for the cavalry units. Just making them 8-man units would give them that much more staying power when they assault, because assault is always pretty deadly, right? But cavalry is pretty good at assaulting, and having them be fanatics is very good. They become very expensive though, so that is a thing. 2 medium machine gun teams. I dislike these. I'm sorry, I'm just not a fan of medium machine guns, and that is because they're fixed. If we're going Germans, I would always buy light machine gun teams, because they are the same as other nations' medium machine gun teams, except they're not fixed, so they can move and shoot. I do like them being inexperienced. They're pin machines, sitting in the back lines on objectives. That's perfectly fine. I would just, I would prefer them to be able to move. That's it. A heavy mortar team, inexperienced, really good. Again, a little bit vulnerable to snipers, both the medium machine guns and the heavy mortar is. A sniper team, regular, to defend from enemy snipers, so that makes sense. A lot of small teams here, right? Which is good. It makes it so that you get more order dice in your platoon, That's really nice. A medium howitzer. I can see that happening. Yes, of course. A machine gun sidecar motorcycle. We love those, don't we? They're really good. And then I don't know why, but because it's not needed to have this in a second platoon. The Marder 1 Lorraine Slepper is a heavy howitzer, open-topped armored vehicle. It's really good, but it is kind of expensive for something that's open-topped. It's sort of a horo, if you know that one, for the Germans. So it's a pretty good and nifty way of getting extra indirect shots into your lists, because you can use the tank slot for being like a heavy howitzer, basically. So that is the list. This is a pretty good attempt at a German list with the restrictions that we have. But I'm not sure that this is going to win the tournament, simply because the elements that it can use to push are not the strongest possible solutions for that. So I think it will have some difficulty in pushing and attacking. It will be pretty good on defense, and on an open table, all these mortars and howitzers are going to be really key. So that was the first list. Let's go back a bit and talk about the second list. Now, this is one of the maybe stronger lists in my eyes. It's a 15 order dice, 1,000 points and 1,050 point Soviet Silo Heights list. For those of you who know different theater selectors, many know that the Silo Height one it was the top of the theater selectors a few years back, where everyone was like, this is OP, this is really, really good. And if all like events that allowed theater selectors were won by Silo Height list, basically. And he starts out with a regular junior lieutenant. It's okay. I would prefer, if you go regulars, that you will also buy the extra dudes, but the points have all been spent in this list. So tank riders, 2 of those, 5-man units with submachine guns. They are nice. They really deliver the pain, and they can sort of be pushed up when you push up. You're inevitably going to see that of course this list has 2 tanks, because that's what Silo Heights can do. So yeah, and that infantry will protect your tanks from enemy approaching the tanks. Then we have assault engineers. This is one unit that I really am not sure about, and that's because assault engineers are really good because they can take flamethrowers normally. They can't in this selector, but they are equipped with body armor, making them a Death Star type of unit. But they're very small Death Star, right? So they're only 5 men. One of them has a Panzerfaust. They can be pushed against enemy armor, but 1 Panzerfaust is not enough to hunt, and they're very, very expensive. 110 points for 5 men. That's really a lot of points. A scout squad. I really like scout squads because they can be pushed up. They can be forward deployed. That is very, very strong. And it's a 6-man unit, so this Soviet player will have some of his infantry in the center table from turn 1, where he can sort of dominate the areas that he wants to. Very strong choice. The free rifle squad, always good. And then 2 tank hunter teams, again, having them push up into the center table very early on. He's putting pressure on his opponent. So this is a list where you can see there are a lot of elements that can be pushed. The only problem with these elements is that they're very small. So some of these units will get hit by a howitzer and die in one go. The Panzerfaust in the tank hunter teams here is nice, but it's only 1 Panzerfaust, so it's not something that they can actually go hunting with. It's just there to threaten away enemy armor. Anti-tank rifle, again, to threaten and pin enemy armor. 2 inexperienced mortars. You can tell sort of that this player knows what he's doing. He's buying the cheapest mortars because he knows that the enemy will focus on the stuff that he is putting into the center table. So the mortars will have free range to start with. Even more so because the scouts and the tank hunters that he is forward deploying can sort of push the enemy's forward deployers away from the area where he wants to deploy his mortars. So no sniper will actually be able to get to these mortars. These mortars will have free range. There's no reason to buy them regular then. So he knows what he's doing. He even found the points for a Ss 3, really good gun, sort of a Soviet version of the 88. It's a dual purpose one. It can shoot HE and it can shoot a 5+ pen anti-tank round. So it's really useful. And then comes the kicker here. 2 light stewards, the darker stewards with recce. These are what's going to win games for him. These stewards, he can sort of, if you can sort of cut the enemy in half and determine where most of the enemy's anti-tank capabilities are, he can push up these 2 stewards with the tank riders and just start obliterating the other flank where the good anti-tank stuff isn't. So and a Bren carrier as well to deliver those body armored engineers. So he has 3 armored choices that can all of them deliver hard-hitting units. This is a very offensive list, whereas the one we looked at before is very defensive. And I believe that this list has a good shot at winning a lot of games. So just looking at list here, not the players. I don't know anything about the players, right? Right. Then we come to another German list here. This is a regular German reinforced platoon, 1,050 points, 9 order dice. And that is where my brain just shot down when I saw 9 order dice. 9 order dice is not enough. This player is going to find that he is lacking the order dice that he needs at crucial moments, simply because the other players will have so many more order dice in the bag than he does. The reason why he has so few order dice is that so much of his stuff is veteran. So let's go through the list. He starts out with a regular lieutenant, extra infantry, perfectly fine, no problem with that. It's what you have to do when you're running Germans. Then he has Heer Grenadiers, veteran squads, 4 of those, each one with an, no, 3 of them have LMGs, and 1 of them has a Panzerfaust. So one of them, I think he's setting that up to be the push unit, and the rest are going to be backline holders. If you're going to go backline holders, you might as well go regulars. Because if you're getting shot at, you'll go down most of the time. You're only 5 dudes sitting in a forest somewhere in your back line, so you'll be soft cover, long range, 5s. But if it's a darker steward shooting at you, you want that those 5s to be 7s, so they'll go down. So you don't need to be veteran. This is points more or less wasted, in my opinion. Also, the LMGs, yes, they are better in the environment of this tournament with the restrictions there are, but they're still not good, not worth the points. The German LMGs are even a little bit better, but still not worth it in my opinion. So I'm sorry, whoever made this list. I'm really sorry that I'm dumping on your list here, but I think that this is a waste of points. The Waffen SS full strength late war unit here is really good. Fanatics is really good, but why are you buying 2 LMGs for a unit that is Fanatics and clearly designed to push? These LMGs won't be able to use the range that they have in the LMG because you're going to push them into the center table. I mean, this is a 10-man unit. It's a huge unit, and it's hugely expensive, 200 points. You could buy almost 2 darker stewards for that if you were running Soviets. This is So many points are being poured into units with not a lot of output here. So this might be a player that's more historical player or a casual player, and not that much as much as me anyway, a competitive player. Because for me this is wasting points. For somebody who's historical, this might seem like a really good historical list because they're taking the choices with all the German machine guns and all that. I'm sorry, I don't like this list. Medium mortar, regular with a spotter. That is a fine choice. Not a problem with it. Puma, I love Pumas. They're really good. Fine choice, not a problem with it. Panzer IV, 245 points. So that one Waffen SS unit and the Panzer IV is half the army. This is, oh, Tiger Fear is fun. It's not worth it. It's just one Armor 9 Plus shot with a heavy anti-tank gun. That's all you have. I'll give one advice for this player though. In almost all your games, you want your Tiger to be in the center of the table, and you want to push it forward where you can sort of cut the enemy's lines. For instance, if you were facing the list before, the Darker Steward Soviets that I talked about, then I think this Tiger should be centrally where he can at least cut off 2 lines of approach so that whenever the Darker Stewards try to move up, his heavy anti-tank gun will be there on ambush, killing them. The problem with that is that the other list had so much more indirect fire than this list does. This list is going to find that it will be a struggle in most of the games that it'll face. I'm sorry. So I went on a rant there, didn't I? I'm really sorry about that. Right. Next list is another Soviet platoon. It's a 12 order dice list, so a bit low, but not very low. 1,046 points, and enough for one more SMG if you can find a unit that can take it. And then we have a regular lieutenant with an extra dude. Again, I think you could easily buy more infantry for this lieutenant. He's regular, so why not? Assault engineers with a Panzerfaust. Again, body armor on a 5-man unit. Do you need it? Is it good enough? If you're going to make a Death Star type unit, I think you should go big. I think you should go 8-man body armor, submachine guns, all of them. 1 Panzerfaust, 2 Panzerfausts, maybe. Just spend the points. The enemy will shoot at you once you're in the center table or like on the objectives, and then you can just stand there and take it. Then we have the People's Militia. I really like People's Militia. Inexperienced, they're pretty good. They're a large unit here. They're green, they're inexperienced, so they're cheap. They're going to be great. And in the games that they get upgraded to regular, that will all be a bonus, right? The Frontnik Kommissar, I also like that one. It's really good. It will help with those the militia unit and the free rifle unit. I love it. LMG Squad, 2 LMGs. Oh my God, what's with the LMGs, guys? No, I don't. It's a good backline holder though. It's sitting on an objective in the back lines, and it's bought regular. 2 LMGs. That's a lot of shots. I don't think you need that many shots because you're not actually killing units, and you can't split fire. So I don't think you need to. You need 1 just for the range, and then you can shoot. Yeah. Sorry, I'm ranting a lot today about LMGs, but yeah, them. I guess they're my pet peeve. Mortar, medium mortar, regular, Sparta, perfect. We love it. 2 tank hunter teams. I like those. They're good for the Soviets. And these are quite big. They're 4-man teams. One of them has a Panzerfaust, the other doesn't. I think that both of them should have one Panzerfaust. I think you can take the Panzerfaust off the where were they? The assault engineers. I don't think they need that Panzerfaust. I think the tank hunters would be better with it, just because they're up in the center lines quite early on, whereas the assault engineers will have to move up. So these tank hunters are more of a threat, and they're veteran. They're pretty survivable. I think you should do that. Then we have the Ss-3. Again, good solid choice for Soviets. And a KV-2. No. I faced one of these in Scotland, and I absolutely obliterated the player who was running it. The rest of the list is perfectly fine, no problems with it. The KV-2, that's 300 points sunk into a huge, heavy, slow tank that has a heavy howitzer and a lot of machine guns. If you're a clever player and you have the means to do this, you will start pinning this tank, and this tank will do nothing, and all those points will be wasted. Competitively, the KV-2 is not worth the points. They are not. You can get a heavy howitzer for 60, 80 points if you're running it, I mean, regular or veteran. You can even like look at the Slepe Lorraine that we talked about before, right? That was 155 points for, oh, that was a medium howitzer, wasn't it? But still, I mean, it's half the points for the howitzer, and still the same one shot that you're going to miss most of the time, because people will go down, or they will recce, or they will try to be not where you are, because, oh. A truck to transport, I guess, the assault engineers, but it's a 12-man transport. What else is he going to put into that transport? He only has the assault engineers that are really like a push unit. Maybe the LMG squad, pushing that up to the center table, because you don't want the militias, and the free rifle squad to do that. I'm really doubting this list. There are some choices here that I find are suboptimal. So Soviets is of course a good choice if you're going to go competitively. We've seen that before, but I don't think that this list will be the one that wins the tournament. Yeah, I'm sorry. This was quite a ranty, and I was dumping on people's lists for this round, but that's how it goes. Sometimes I don't pre-record these videos. I just say what's on my mind most of the time, and that of course turns out into sometimes I dislike a list. So good luck to all the players who sent the lists. Especially good luck to the Tiger and the KV-2. I'm rooting for you guys, because I think your list is not competitive lists, which means that if you can win games with that, you guys are awesome, because you're going to struggle in some respects. That's my prediction anyway. So yeah, good luck, and thanks for this round. Cheers. It just takes a while for me to get off here. Bye.